Hello everyone and welcome back to the Off the Record podcast. I have no voice.
No, you don't. And I do, thankfully.
That's Dan. And today I've got the man flu. So my voice is a little bit weird, so apologies if I'm a bit quiet or I sound like I'm doing a bad Morgan Freeman impression.
Yeah.
I'm not intending to. I just don't have a larynx today. Welcome back. So Dan,
hello.
How the devil are you?
I'm thankfully a lot better than I was last week.
Oh, good.
Yeah, as you're well aware, I normally come up to Oxford from Bournemouth on a Wednesday, Thursday, and last week I got hit with this said man flu, and it wrote me off. I was only managing like 4 hours of work a day from home, and then the rest of it was just feeling sorry for myself and blowing my bloody nose. So,
I'm just built different.
Yeah, that's what it is. I was actually annoyed. I did say to the guys, as long as you're cool with me being up, I'll come up. And they were like, well, no, don't spread it. And then I get in here yesterday, and two people are fucked. I think, well, why didn't I just come up? If they're all fucked, I may as well have been fucked with them.
Yeah, but there was less of a chance that we'd all be fucked if you'd come up. But
True.
I didn't realise it had already spread to fucking sick note 1 and 2 out there. And now the person that doesn't normally get ill in the office is fucked.
Yeah.
So
The joys.
But Rich told me that he was curled up in bed shivering like a little pussy all weekend, and I've done 2 full days of work with it, so
Here we go.
shove it up his ass.
Yeah, you wait for day 3 and 4, son.
I'll be fine. I'll fucking will it away. I'm all good.
Indeed. Well, other than that, I've been, I went through 3 rolls of toilet roll blowing my nose last week, and I thought that was quite impressive. Although my nose is now very sore, which is ideal, so that's always good.
Yeah. Yeah,
What?
you run the risk, don't you, of getting the red ring of death.
Yeah, and it's not pleasant. It looks horrible. I look like a crackhead, so thanks.
Yeah.
I even had a woman serve me weirdly. I went to, for anybody in England who knows of this brand, it's a dying brand on High Street. It's called G&T's. You ever heard of that? It may just be a brand down like Bournemouth Way and South Coast, but yeah, it's been going for decades, and they sell everything. Well, they don't sell anything of good quality, but they sell everything. Like, I mean, from suitcases to mini portable heaters and fucking arts and crafts. I've popped in there to grab some command strips to put up a new dartboard. Mate, the woman has just stared at me like I've walked in and just shouted racial slurs around the shop. I was like, just these 2, please. Like, really? Is it that bad? I'm sorry I've offended you to the point of silence. Jesus Christ. Just from how I look, so that was good. But yeah, that's what else have I bloody been doing? Helping my housemate out with his bike ride. Helping him sort of plan that as much as I can do within reason. What I don't want to do is just do it for him, because then it's, where does he help? Where does that benefit him? But you know, he's been learning, he's been doing a great job. He's had a few practice rides, which is fantastic. Good lad. And other than that, watching football. That's what I do, really.
Nice.
And playing some darts. Well, attempting. I can't call it playing yet, because I'm still fucking awful. But attempting to play darts.
We haven't had a game yet, have we? We should.
Well, I found out your average is 57 and mine is not, so that doesn't sound like a much of a contest.
It was 57 when I was playing every week. I haven't played for nearly a year.
Oh, well, let's go then. Yeah, I've got a chance.
We might be there. We might be all right.
My problem is I rotate between 5 different sets of darts.
Don't do that.
I know, it doesn't help you learn, but I'm pretty decent with all of them. So, you know, I say decent. For a fucking amateur idiot, I'm decent. Do you know what I mean? I can hit a double in 4 darts.
Yeah, people get very stressed out by my darts because they're about that long.
Little ones, yeah.
They're tiny. I've got the built-in flighting shaft, which a lot of people hate as well, and they're 28s.
Jesus.
Or 26. They're heavy. Like, they're little and heavy, and people just pick up my darts and go, what the fuck is this? Like, if anyone else throws my darts, they hit the board like that.
Well, pointing proper downwards.
Yeah, because people just don't throw them hard enough, and then they just drop like a stone. But yeah, it's funny. I used to do that because I went through a phase of throwing ridiculously long darts, like Luke Humphreys level long, like extra long shafts and long barrels. And then I realised that you can't actually aim them very well. Like, because they're so long, or you've got sat in your hand, it's a little bit of shaft and it moves as you throw it.
Sorry, Tay. I'm a child. You just said all you got sat in your hand is a little bit of shaft. And I'm going to laugh at that, mate.
Okay.
I'm a child. Yeah.
Okay. This does explain why you're shit at darts.
Because I laugh too much. I find puns and innuendos funny. I can't help myself.
Also, it's the only sport where I've got a more apt body shape to darts than he has.
Nail it, son. Get stuck in.
And
how have you been, though, Tay?
Ill.
Well, the last 2 and a bit days, yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that?
Yeah, I've been alright.
No?
I mean, yeah. Just living life. I haven't really done much in the last week, actually. It's been a very, very uneventful week. But I'm 11.5 kilos down on my weight loss that I told everyone about a couple of weeks ago.
Very well done, sir.
Kilos. That's that. Still haven't spent my savings account.
That's good.
Still there, untouched. That's good. We love it. That's the longest that's ever lasted. But yeah, fuck all else. I am boring. We know this.
Football Manager? No updates?
I haven't played it. I haven't played it over the last couple of days because I can't concentrate on it. But no, I got knocked out in the semi-final of the Champions League, so I was fuming at that. I went 2-0 up in the first leg as well. Bottled it.
Oh God! What is your name? Arsenal.
Yeah, and then.
Sorry, Arsenal fans.
I'm not. I think I finished fourth. I just snuck in on the last day of the season. I snuck fourth. This is with Man United. I snuck fourth, and I managed to somehow. I signed Heung-min Son at 32 years old for £58 million, and then a year later sold him to Saudi for 95.
I was about to say, what is wrong with you? But what a bit of business genius that was.
Flipping it. I sold Bruno Fernandes.
Good.
£154 million.
To who? Saudi again?
Yeah, Saudi.
Of course.
Sold Casemiro for £61 million.
Saudi?
Yes.
There we go.
I've single-handedly bled the entire country of Saudi Arabia of money. I had some other big sales as well, but yeah, I signed Gyökeres. He was good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I paid quite a lot of money for him though.
100?
No. I think I paid 68 million, something like that.
Sounds like a good buy.
But finally got rid of Onana. No fucker wanted to buy him. He's been sat on the bench for 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, I don't like him, so I didn't play. I might have played him for the first half of the first season. And then I just flipped him with Bayindir. Just played Bayindir. And then I finally got rid of him and I sold him for £12 million.
Poor chap.
Yeah, 12 million quid. Can't remember who I signed though. I can't remember the goalkeeper I signed. It wasn't anyone. Oh no, I re-signed De Gea.
Did you?
Yeah, I re-signed De Gea.
What's he like 41 on the game?
No, he's 34 in the year I'm in.
Really?
Which is I think next season from when we're talking now.
Oh, well done, sir.
Yeah. So there you go, Football Manager updates.
Like it. We all like that, don't we?
With Tay-Tay.
With Tay-Tay.
Yeah, let's see what's been happening in the news. I have to say, I don't know what's gone on in the world. Well, nothing's gone on in the world by the sounds of it, because it was a slow news week. But
bleak.
I found some stuff that we can talk about. And I think Dan might have an opinion on this. More than a fifth of UK adults are still not looking for work. More than a fifth of the UK's working age adults are not in work or actively looking for work, official figures suggest. The UK economy inactivity rate was 21.5 in the last 3 months to January, marking a drop from both the previous quarter and year, and is respectively low compared with trends since 2009.
Wow.
What are you thinking?
I mean, I've got some first-hand real-life experience of this. So, unfortunately, due to a lot of employers being ageist, and I can kind of understand why. You know, like if you care about your staff, you're investing in a person, and if you invest in a person, you hope that they can stay in your business and be proactive and productive for the longest time possible. So, when I was growing up, my dad would have been in his mid to late 50s. And unfortunately, we had to live on benefits for, I think it was about 4 years in the end, which for someone like my dad is not, that dents his pride. He's a very capable man, and he just didn't have the access to an opportunity. So he raised me living through the benefit system. And that's when I was sort of 12, 13. I remember him explaining to me the poverty trap. And it made complete sense. In benefits, he could access the equivalent of something like £23,000 a year to make sure he could look after me. But all the jobs that he was going for were £20,000 or whatever. I can't remember the exact numbers. Let's say maybe it was a bit higher than that on the benefits. But the problem was he couldn't get employed no matter how. And he spoke to a lot of people. He ended up working for one company. I won't use their name because I might get in trouble for libelous comments. But he generated that business somewhere in the region of £100,000 of revenue in 3 months working there. They didn't pay him a penny. Not even his wage, right? So this was one of the breaks in the unemployment situation. And he was like, okay, what do? I can't sue the company. He wanted to, but he didn't have any sort of tools, resources, people that he knew to help. So what I can say as someone that's lived with benefits, I can understand why you feel helpless in getting another job. It's not a good and a positive attitude to have. There's no disputing that. But I've seen it beat a very capable man down and put him in a situation where he felt like, well, look, I'm going to protect my son. I'm going to protect, we didn't have a lot by any fucking means, but he gave enough so that I could have a nice enough life, No luxuries, but I had food. I had water. I had a roof over my head. Thank you very much. So yeah, I can see why a lot of people feel like they can't go and escape that trap. But I do feel like there's a relatively high proportion of that 21 point something % that probably are capable of going to get work. They just don't want to put the effort in. My dad was proactively looking every single day, not week. You had to go to the job centre once a week, but you can look on your own time every day, and he did. Most people, they go, fuck that, I've got 30 grand coming in the door, I've got 2 kids, so I get extra benefits for having the extra kids. This is more convenient for me, rather than this is the right thing to do. And if you're not a contributor to a society, you are a drain. And I'm not calling people as a negative, just literally numerically. That's all I'm saying. If you're taking from and not putting in, you are draining. And that's the conundrum here, and this is why a lot of people have got very, very angry views towards some people that are on benefits. But it's benefit cheats. You have to add that word in at the end, because not everybody on them is cheating the system. A lot of people are just utilising what they feel like they need in a moment to survive. So, yeah, I don't like hearing 21%. It doesn't give me any confidence for the next 10 years of my life or for my staff's lives. So, not happy about hearing that. But, the government shouldn't have made it so easy and so convenient for people to access these funds.
Yeah, we've got examples of both ends of the spectrum in my family. Now, I don't know what relation he is to me, because my family is vast and very confusing. But a member of my family is the definition of what you said, of benefits. He's got all the benefits legitimately as far as I know, but I think he's claiming them to an extent where it's a little bit cheeky, let's say. Mm-hmm. And after having conversations with his family, has made it quite clear that it's more beneficial to him to stay on benefits, where he just gets to sit at home and play Xbox all day, than it is to actively try and find work and contribute to society. Now, when it's that sort of outlook, where it's a little bit woe is me, and also a vast amount of laziness, I can totally sympathise with people as to why they get annoyed at that. Especially when, if you don't know how to play the system, for lack of a better term,
That's right.
it's very difficult to get yourself on the ladder of getting the benefits, even if you do qualify and deserve them. For example, my dad, when he must have been 28, 30, when I was quite young, he broke his back in 6 places.
Bloody hell.
He fell off a motorbike, and he was out of work for about 18 months. He was in like a big
Body brace.
yeah, like huge, like serious stuff.
Wow.
And he's a bricklayer, as I've mentioned before, has paid his taxes as everyone should and does. And in the whole time that he was off work and seeking, I don't know what benefit it actually is, but effectively short-term disability benefit, let's say, he didn't get it.
What?
They never qualified him. So, yeah, he never, even though he's 50 years old now and he's paid his taxes every single month. I know this is an old adage of saying, well, I've paid my dues. But he did. And the one time that he actually needed the assistance from the welfare that this country is known for, and I think is a good thing, it failed him. And then you look at people like this other guy in my family where he's played the field. I mean, look, if he put that much effort of finding all these benefits that he could claim into
Finding
a career, he would almost certainly do quite well. Apparently, I don't know him because I've never met him, but he's very tech savvy apparently, and like he could find a very good high paying job, but yeah, he doesn't want to. And I just think that when you get to those two ends of the spectrum, it does I think justify the sort of vilification of those people that do just play the system.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Benefit cheats, and that's the name cheat is not a nice name, and for good reason, because you're doing something against the rules basically. And again, there's no set rules in life, are there? We're all technically here to fend for ourselves, but we've built societies and we've built communities, and if you're not contributing to either of those two things, you're not helping. And if you're not helping, fuck are you doing here? Not to be so horrible, but you know, and I'm like I say, I am not accusing everybody who is on benefits of that. I'm saying the people that abuse and get more than what they're technically entitled for. Anybody who lies to access more, that's cheating. Don't lie. Just be honest.
No,
and you know,
I think that's what's been detrimental to a lot of people as well, is because people are willing to, let's say, amplify the truth. It's made the level of scrutiny that people going to try and claim these benefits is so much higher, which is probably what contributed towards my dad not being able to claim what he deserves, effectively. I think it's made it so that you walk into this benefit system guilty before proven innocent, if you know what I mean, as opposed to the other way round. And I don't. It can't be a healthy system.
no, I mean, it's not doing our economy any favours. Let's just say that.
No,
we're all evidence of seeing that, and it gets even harder when you've had. What did I hear the other day? I don't want to butcher statistics because then there's no value in the information, but I'm pretty sure it was something like we've had 4 million people move to this country in the last, like, is it 12 years, 15 years?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, that your infrastructure can't hold that.
No.
And especially if you've got rules and benefit packages and assistance for those who need it, most in society, if you know, because technically then that person that is now a citizen here that is going to be given, well, they're going to be, unfortunately, and I don't like this, but they're going to be racially profiled. They're going to be, you know, put into a bracket of you don't deserve the same opportunity because you're not from here. Now, that means that they then have to use the system. So you're in this horrible catch-22. If you try and do a nice thing as a country to help people out that are in desperate need, lovely, but then they end up not being given the opportunity to go and get a job because of discrimination, and then they're stuck in a rut of, I've got to do something, I've got 3 kids to feed. What do you do? And, you know, it's tough. I don't have the answer for this one because, unfortunately, the absolute best answer for the country is not a nice one for humanity.
No.
So my ideals wouldn't allow me to perform that job. I couldn't create the best solution.
No, it's a very difficult way to placate both sides, isn't it?
Yeah. But very interesting topic, and a bit worrying, I must admit, to see 21%. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
That is not
Which is
good.
weird, though, because I don't think I actually know.
5 people on benefits?
No, I don't. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Even, if I split up my friendship group of 10, 2 of them aren't unemployed, let's say. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I imagine there's hotspots throughout the country, isn't there?
Yes. I've seen that in the past, yeah.
Yeah.
What's next?
Well, it's a sort of weird news story, but I thought we'd talk about it because we're both sort of on the same page with this.
Ooh, here we go.
So why are people cutting back their online profile? And then this news story goes into the story of a person, but I thought I'd rather actually spin it to ask you that question as to why you don't have much of an online presence in terms of social media.
Oh, okay. I mean, directly I don't, because when I was at school, I used Facebook as an extension of my class clown demeanour. And I loved the idea of making people laugh. And that's all I ever tried to do. So I was quite proactive on Facebook for I'd say from 14, 15 up until 2021. I would post silly videos of me just sat in one of the shops talking nonsense for 10 minutes. I would post videos of me sat in the car eating a kebab. I don't even know why I did all this nonsense, but eventually I then got Instagram. And as I was using it, I was doing things I wasn't proud of. I was only showcasing niceness. I was trying to get like a sense of self-gratification from other people's opinions. And I just reviewed what I was doing every time I posted and went, if I saw somebody else post that, why would I assume they're posting it? And it is so other people look at you favourably. And I just went, I don't need that in life. I don't need people to know what I do. What I do is not important to everybody else. And if it's my ego that is driving me to try and gain gratification, then I don't take any pride in that. If I'm doing it because I'm proud of myself, look at what I've achieved, and I hope that my friends and family, who are hopefully the people that I follow or follow me on social media, are going, do you know what, well done, Dan. That would be nice. But then I realised so many people use it to put others down as a point of comparison. I was like, I don't want to be that guy that somebody wakes up in the morning, they're not happy with their job, they're not happy with their life, through no fault of their own. They look at a phone and see me, lauding about these achievements. And I went, I'm going to make people feel like shit. And it's not my aim or my objective, but if that is a byproduct of it, I don't want to be part of that. So the only things I post on social media now are my business related things. So if we launch a new product, if we launch a new brand, if I've got a discount on something that could make a product cheaper for my customers, then I talk about that. Or I just share it. Proactively, I don't think that me, Dan Greenall, is impressive. I don't think that I've got anything that anybody wants to hear or see me do. That's my own stance, but, yeah, interesting. Go on, what's your reasoning, Tay? I mean, we have discussed it in passing before, but what's your situation?
Yeah, it's very similar. That's why I sort of put it up. It's one of the very few things where I don't think I'm going to argue with anything Dan said. Because I don't understand that the perpetual want for the most of society for empty gratification. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why people let what other people think dictate their life. Because my brother is a bit like this, where he lives a very, very normal life, but all you see on social media is him at the top of the shard, or wherever he is and I'm just like, that's not the life you live, but it's the life you portray.
Yeah.
So in a way, is that not quite sad? Because clearly this is the life you want to live, because this is the life you're putting across in a digital space. But it's not the life you live. So is it a case of that you're not happy in your current life, that you're yearning for a different one? Or, is it as simple as, you want to portray a version of you that isn't the you that you are. I don't know. I mean, if you were to look at my Instagram, it's very, well, empty for a start. But I think the last two things I've posted on Instagram were pictures of trees. Yeah. Like, just to give an idea of, a bridge, trees.
I like that, though.
But I've just put wood and more wood as the captions.
See,
and then
like that.
I touch grass. But
it's nice content. It's natural, nice content.
It's like,
it's your life.
This is literally what I... Do you know what I mean? There's no... Yes, okay, I cherry pick the bits I put on there. I'm not going to put on there a picture of me in bed when I decided I haven't got to get up that day. But it's real. Do you know what I mean? It's not some... These are all things that I do regularly, not...
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's just... I don't understand it. I don't... And I know it's the way my brain works. We are in the minority on this, but... Yeah, it's just the false portraying. I don't get it. And frankly, who the fuck cares what I'm doing? Do you know what I mean? I don't care what anyone else is doing within reason. So why the fuck would they care what I'm doing? I don't understand the people who, which is ironic coming from someone who does marketing, but I don't understand. Yeah. I understand its power. And I understand its influence as a whole. I just don't understand on an individual basis why people are so obsessed with it.
I've got one answer. And again, this is it's not against what you've just said, it's what we're both saying, is that there is a possibility that people just want to post their highlights. And, your brother going up to the Shard, because he doesn't do it every day, that is a highlight of his life. Maybe that's the logic. And the only reason why I've just said that, I've had a look through mine, and like I say, I've just checked. 2017 was the last time I posted an ego-based post. Other people, though, I can imagine them looking at other ones I've done and saying, oh, well, that's ego. Because, like, for example, one of them, I started going to the gym, which is something that I've never liked. I don't like the idea of sweaty blokes in a bloody room moving metal, grunting. I don't want to spend 2 hours in that environment. That's not nice. It's not my cup of tea. But I made myself go and do it for like a year and a bit, right? And the transformation, I was proud of myself. So I did post a picture of my back. This is about 2 years ago. And that was my second from last post.
I know the picture you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, I can imagine people would see that and go, oh, you're looking for likes. I wasn't. I genuinely was proud that I made myself so uncomfortable for a year and a bit that looked cool to me. And it was another version of me that I grew to. So it has just made me realise that was one of my highlights. And it genuinely was. It sounds mad. When my mate said, Jesus Christ, Green, I was just in the kitchen about to cook dinner. Hence why the picture is me in my kitchen. And he was like, fuck me, your back's ridiculous. And I was like, what? I can't see my back. I don't take pictures of my back. Like, I don't know. And he took a picture of it. And I was like, oh shit. Oh, that's pretty cool. So, like, little things like that, and then me eating KFC. I was literally sat in a hotel room, in my boxers, eating KFC, watching the footy. So my point for the post wasn't to show off, and my caption was, what was it? Who said business isn't glamorous? Like, do you know what I mean? I'm in a travel lodge or a Premier Inn, munching on a KFC. It's like, yeah, and it's just made me realise maybe most people don't post for those highlight moments. Maybe it isn't to say, oh, look at me, look at what I've just done that you can't do. And maybe it really is just, I'm proud of myself. Look at what I've managed to get out of my life. Maybe,
No, I sympathise with that. I mean, if you look through some of mine, for example, Halloween lights, Kissam Stadium, that's got the best caption on it.
It's a photo of the football at the football. So dry. He's such a dry man. I love it.
But it's just
interesting.
I just thought it was interesting because we do have a pretty weird outlook on social media. Because frankly, who cares? Do you know what I mean? But the fact that two completely different people actually come to the same conclusion on it is a little bit weird, I thought. But
it is. That's a cool one.
There we go.
I like that. Social bloody media. People go, well, look at you two. You're doing a podcast. Fucking, that's definitely for your ego.
I've just fight me then.
I was just going to give them a rational answer, and you just hit them with playground fight me then. I like that. Fair play to you, Tay. Yeah. I'm not even going to bother with a rational answer. That's much better.
Controversy in the ice cream world.
Oh, Jesus. What have you done, Vianetta?
Ben and Jerry's boss ousted over political activism.
Oh, fuck me.
Can you see what I mean? Slow news day.
Yeah.
Ben and Jerry's has said its chief executive, David Stever, was being removed by its parent company, Unilever, in a growing dispute over the ice cream company's political activism. The allegation was part of a legal case filed in a US court by Ben and Jerry's that said Unilever violated a merger agreement by trying to silence its social mission. It comes a month after the ice cream company accused Unilever of demanding that it stops publicly criticising US President Donald Trump. A Unilever spokesperson said it is disappointed that the confidentiality of an employee career conversation has been made public. It said it had made repeated attempts to engage the Ben and Jerry's board and follow the correct processes. I thought that was pretty mad. The fact,
hit me with it. Yeah, which bit?
Just the whole situation for a start, because Ben and Jerry's has done this for years. It's not a new thing, and that's why I wonder why it's now a problem. They've always been a pretty, virtue signalling, left-leaning company.
Yeah.
And yes, I know it's under a parent organisation of Unilever, who, for all intents and purposes, have to say stay centrist, don't they? But it's they've done this for many years with like puns in the names of their ice cream, and a lot of their sort of social media presence is poking fun at a lot of political things. And yeah, I'm just surprised that I know this is the sort of conspiracy bit of my brain coming out, but I'm like, does that not lend itself to thinking that Unilever has ulterior motive, i.e., because it's now against someone that they like, allegedly, if they like him, sort of thing.
Oh, sorry, that was an actual question to me. I thought, sorry, that was an internal hypothetical one.
Well, it sort of was, but I thought you'd have a follow-up. But, I can carry on talking if you want.
If you've got more to the point, I'll let you. I'll let you carry on. But this is a fucking tricky one, because fundamentally, right? This is the killer. Fundamentally, whoever came up with the brand of Ben and Jerry's, it's their emotional, moral, literal choice as to who they want to vocalise being pro or anti. That's down to the individuals. If they say that the brand has enemies and, foes, etc., or, people that they get along with and ties, then that can have a ripple effect on the successful level of the business. And that business, or any business, technically, depending on the owner, most businesses are there to try and make more money. That really is the objective of a business. It's how do we become profitable, right? Now, if Ben and Jerry's owners, not Unilever, the bigger organisation, the holding co., but if the individuals who came up with that brand have gone, this is my opinion, this is what I want to voice under the brand of Ben and Jerry's, that is their decision. But when you give away equity to another party, more than 25%, they have a voting right. Now, if you give somebody a voting right of a company, you then have to consider their opinion. You have to. Otherwise, what Unilever have the right to do is just get rid of all their shares. Unilever could just say, I want out of this brand. That's Unilever's choice. And that's why you need to be centrist, because now, in 2025, is probably the loudest any voice has ever been about politics, opinions, gender, race, all of that. It's never been louder than it is today. And the problem is that is going to mean that a huge selection of society that aren't centrist are going to look at either end of the spectrum and say, I disagree, I agree. Now, unfortunately, we now make purchasing decisions of ice cream not based on how it tastes and how much it costs me, but on what the fucking brand's political views are. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want to support racists, for example. I don't want to support homophobes. I'm not pro those things. So if I knew that openly, that that's what they were doing with their money, or that's what they were doing in terms of trying to create an influence, I would then stop supporting them. Say, for example, prime example here, Starbucks. I will never, ever buy a Starbucks. Do you understand? Never. I had a mate ask me, do you want to go chill in Starbucks? It's a really nice place to sit down, work and have a chat. Not a chance, lad. What do you mean? I went, well, because 3 years ago, my little business paid more tax than they did. Fuck you, Starbucks, thank you very much. And I know I might get done for this, I don't care. Because that's my moral opinion.
Allegedly.
Yeah, thank you. You can chuck that in there if you want. So I make purchasing decisions not just based on the product, because I don't want to support a company that is trying to abuse loopholes and then not contribute what a company like mine, because I'm a small business and I don't have access to the same lawyers, funds, accountants. Why do I have to get punished for 25% of my corporation tax? Like, why am I losing 25% of my profits that I could distribute to my staff? I could reduce my costs in my stores, and help my customers. These are all things that I'm not allowed to do because of a different vantage point, So it's a tricky one. I don't think anybody should base their fucking purchasing on a taste product to do with the owner's views, but there are things that I've got very, very strict opinions and a moral compass on. And I would make a decision to not support a certain brand if it completely disaligned with my views. If I found out Ben and Jerry's were actually, and this is again if, and it's a hypothetical, it's not a truth thing, don't I'm accusing them of this, but let's just say, for example, they were pro-Nazism. I'm not going to buy their stuff. I mean, I don't buy their stuff now because it costs too much, but that's my purchase decision, is price. It's not, I don't know what their fucking political views are. Quite frankly, I don't want to know. But if the media's going to pick up on it and we're all going to hear about it, then you've given me the chance of having an opinion.
That actually opens a little bit of a can of worms that I've thought about in the past, because I've been accused of it, not being racist before you start. But can you, and this is a question, can you appreciate the art of someone, whatever the art may be, without supporting the artist?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I'm sorry, I like Bump and Grind, the song. I'm so sorry. I love that song.
It's like, I don't necessarily agree with what J.K. Rowling says half the time, but I still like Harry Potter. Do you know what I mean? Or Marilyn Manson's music. He's well known to be a bit of a dick. When I say a bit of a dick, a lot of a dick. Yeah. But I still like his music. And I've been chastised for that in the past, but saying that I don't support the person, I support the art they produced. Now, I think that yes, you can. I mean, obviously there are extreme examples. Like, I'm not going to publicly say, Mein Kampf, what a book. Do you know what I mean? It's just, that's not something you do. So there are extremes where I disagree with this. And Bill Burr, actually, I was watching the thing last night of where he was talking about the NFL, and he was like, I still watch O.J. Simpson highlights. Yeah. And like, everyone just says he's a murderer, but he was like the top 5 running back of all time. I'm like, I know he said that to be controversial, but I kind of get it. Yeah. Not with O.J. Simpson specifically, but yeah, like, I don't know. I can, in my head, I can separate it. So, for example, if Ben and Jerry's did support Nazism, if I like the ice cream that much, do I care? Like,
there we go.
This is the thing. Yeah. I don't know, because they don't. But
there's an answer.
There's a thing there where does it really matter? Like, you look at, because there was loads of people that, as soon as J.K. Rowling came out with all this stuff, just using her as an example, about, I don't know if you know the story behind this, but
is this the gender thing?
Yeah, she's like very anti-trans and stuff like that, allegedly. And yet, but I don't think it really impacted. It may have impacted Harry Potter for a period of time, but it's more than recovered by then. It was like the best example of that I saw was when the video game came out, Hogwarts Legacy or whatever it was called, and there was a semi-big movement. It was reported a lot in the news, but I don't actually think it was that physically big. But there was a movement of people saying, don't buy it. If you buy it, you're an anti-trans sympathiser and all this shit. And the whole gaming and Harry Potter community went, fuck off, we're buying it. And it sold really well. And I'm like, so there's clearly quite a lot of people, and I'm sure the majority of people who bought that game, for example, don't agree with what J.K. Rowling says, or don't care enough to have an opinion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't think that's as controversial a view as maybe when I started talking. No. That it is, but I don't know what you think about it.
You've just basically made me learn about myself. This topic, honestly, I thought I was pretty good at being open-minded, fair, and almost unsubjective, like not being anti-people for having a subjective opinion. But what you've just taught me is that my moral compass means so much to me that I pick and choose. And that's so weird. I never realised that about myself. And I think you might have just learned that about yourself. Because I bet you there are certain things that outside of the Marilyn Manson, outside of the J.K. Rowling, there would be something that you do disagree with extremely enough where you would, boycott it. I bet you there are certain things that if you knew that brand was so pro something that you're so against, you would make that choice. Like for me, I love music, which means I don't need to listen to R. Kelly. I don't need to listen to P. Diddy. There's thousands of other artists out there. I don't need to worry about just missing that one song for the rest of my life. But, yeah, up until this conversation, I would happily play Ignition by R. Kelly and just enjoy the song for what it is, as a piece of art, like you say. But when it's somebody profiting from it, this is why I refuse to watch Roadhouse. I don't like the character that Conor McGregor has become as a human being. I don't like the level of ego that he has shown since becoming successful. And fair play to the guy in his field. But the things he does and the things he says are so disrespectful. And he puts himself on a pedestal above others that I now disrespect the character. So I don't want to do anything in my life that benefits his pocket. So next time he fights in the UFC, as much as I want to see him get his head whacked in, I'm not going to pay for it. Because even if he does get battered, he's unlikely to die, which means he's probably just going to get a massive payday and 2 weeks resting period when he's got to recover. So I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to watch your crap anymore, mate. And I've genuinely gone through that conscious process to say I refuse to support anything he does. Genuinely.
But yeah, I get what you're saying, and I think we're on the same page. But let's say, for example, that your all-time favourite drink was Proper 12, which is his whiskey brand.
Yeah.
If you absolutely loved that drink, would you stop buying it simply because it's owned by him?
Yes.
You would?
Yeah, genuinely.
Okay, so we're not on the same page then.
For me, there's nothing... If there's an alternative to something, I've got a very crap palate. Like, don't ever take me to an Art Nouveau restaurant or anything like a, fine dining experience. It's wasted on me. It just is. Because I don't get enough extra value for the cost difference, personally.
Autism.
And autism. Definitely autism. I think that's...
Chicken nuggets and chips for Dan.
Well, no, I still live healthy. I'm fucking rice, beans and, a bit of chicken. I'm happy with that.
It's still all bland as fuck, man.
Literally, I'm fine with that. Like,
his favourite sauce is mayo.
Damn fucking straight it is. And, that's subjective at its finest. I love that mayonnaise, man. But... yeah, I do stand by that. There are certain... my moral compass is it's a very, very big dominant factor in all my decision making. I know that. And, there's certain people I now refuse to do business with because they've done something that I morally disagreed with. Whether it was against me or not is not relevant. If I fully think they've done something horrible to benefit themselves, which has hurt someone else, screw you. You don't need a penny of my money. Go and find it off some other gullible idiot that doesn't care about your actions and let him pay for it. But yeah, so there's nothing, genuinely, I don't think there's anything in life, excluding living family members, friends, plants, animals, that I care enough about or like so much that I wouldn't boycott it. Honestly. Like, if I found out certain information, I would happily stop consuming. If I found out mayonnaise was the biggest cause of slavery, I'd stop eating mayo. I'm deadly serious. I'm not going to keep doing that.
Yeah, that's a slightly different argument because, like I said, art's an artist.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit less direct. But yes, I see what you're saying.
From an art perspective, no, I have listened to R. Kelly's musicians, and
this is the thing. But like I said, there are extremes, and there is a limit to where I think this. Go on.
This might get cut. All right. Who's that band where the lead singer
That's
did
exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah.
So with my uncle once, who's a musician, once said that he wanted to do a cover, and it was a cover of a Lost Prophets song, and he said, "Do you think it's too soon?" Was the way he worded it. And now he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it in any way, but this was in a group chat, and we all just went, well, I don't think it's too soon as opposed to just bad taste, mate. It's like, so that is where I would draw the line. I will never, not that I did before, and maybe that's where it's maybe that's where I differ, because I didn't listen to them before. Like, if Catfish and the Bottlemen, who are probably my favourite band, if the lead singer did some of the things that Ian Watkins did, I don't know how I would react, because I've not experienced that.
Yeah.
But I can safely say I will never listen to Lost Prophets, simply because of what Ian Watkins did.
Oh.
But it's not so much of an emotional reaction to say if it was a band I really love.
Interesting.
And I think what Marilyn Manson did isn't on the same level, so I don't think we can really compare that. And I mean, I'm not obsessed with Marilyn Manson. I just don't boycott him.
Yeah,
what I mean. But yeah, I think it's an interesting sort of thing, isn't it? Like, some people have really strong views, like this Ben and Jerry's thing, and I think that is, by being a controversial figurehead, it's the line you walk, isn't it? You can stay centrist and you can stay out of any drama, or you can use it to your benefit.
Yeah.
But you run the risk of pissing off half your audience, but statistically, especially politically, normally it's pretty 50-50 in America. They don't win. It's very rare there's a landslide, which says to me that it's pretty 50-50 over there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, if that's the line they want to walk, fuck me, it's worked up till now. Do you know what I mean? It seems weird that it's now, maybe they've amped up. I mean, I don't really keep tabs on the social media presence of Ben and Jerry's. But maybe they've amped it up to a point where it's becoming a problem, and it's becoming bigger than what the brand itself is, if you know what I mean. But
well, if it's impacting sales figures so drastically that share prices fall, that then people who have invested their lifelong savings into that, there'll be some people out there, mate, as mad as this sounds, that have gone, I love Ben and Jerry so much, I want to buy their shares. I mean, I've never had that sensation of anything. The only reason why I would invest money in something is if it can make me more money. It's not about my own moral interests. I'm saying that there are things, obviously, I wouldn't invest in as well, like, of course, like helping sales of the Lost Prophets. I'm not going to start doing a marketing campaign for that anytime soon, because I despise that human being, that Ian, whatever the fuck his name
Watkins,
is. Yeah. But anyway, let's not go into that. But what I've learned here, this is so weird. This is why I think these sessions, these podcasts are like therapy. I have just learnt that I'm a complete... Well, I say I've just learnt. I've known this for fucking years. I am an absolute contradiction. All I do is try and stand by a belief that I think is completely pure and absolute and the right thing to do. And then I look at other actions, and then by the time I analyse those, I realise, shit, I'm not absolute. It is so subjective. And that's... For me, it's a bit frustrating, because I've really worked hard to be good across the board, and then I see certain choices I make, and you're right, I'm a hypocrite. And I don't think many people want to hear that. I don't want to hear it about myself, but that's true. I'm a bloody hypocrite.
I don't know if it's... I know it
is
by
hypocrisy.
definition it is hypocrisy, but I think the biggest development you can have, and it's something I've certainly done, is you have your opinions, and you are more than entitled to whatever your opinion is. This is where my libertarianism comes out.
Here we go.
You're entitled to whatever opinion you have, but I think development as a human is accepting that there are other opinions and they are not necessarily wrong. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like the free speech debate. Now, we're not going to get into it because we could be here all day, but the way that a lot of countries now are trying to put free speech related things into law. Now, that's where I draw the line on that sort of thing. Is I think that in order for a truly free society, you should be able to say whatever you want. Now, without criminal implications. That doesn't mean that people should be protected from societal implications.
Okay, I like it. Okay,
you
so
see
you're
what I
saying
mean?
if you basically give us an example.
If you
of what
want to
mean.
be a neo-Nazi, you should have the human right to say whatever you want.
Yeah.
But that doesn't protect you from
Yeah.
being ostracised from the rest of society for having an unpopular opinion.
Oh, well, okay. Oh, interesting. Because I looked at that from a point of a repercussion perspective.
Yeah, well, in the same way. Same way. But
like if there was a neo-Nazi march and they were being aggressive and verbally very like aggressive and saying things that you completely morally disagree with, how long can you stand there and listen to that before taking action? Because these people aren't changing their opinions or their actions based on debate. The only time someone really changes is when they see a physical fucking concern coming their way. And I've held this thing in my head since watching films as a young kid, be it American History X and stuff. You watch those films and all I feel the whole way through is my blood boiling. I'm getting angry at these individuals that hold horrible, violent views towards certain people for no good reason, right? It's not like that person's done something disgusting to my family, I now hate them. No, it's he was born a different colour to me, I fucking hate him. That I can't process it. I don't know how that view ever happens, but I'm equally understanding there's a reason why that individual has it. Their environment drove that in. It's so rare that someone is born into, say, like a working class or middle class white family in a suburban area with like mixed race individuals around them, and all of a sudden they're just neo-Nazis out of nowhere. There has to be. There's normally a cause and effect, right? But I thought what you were leading to there is that the neo-Nazi, if they go and do that, and they're very aggressive with their opinions and views publicly, they deserve a slap in the face if they get one. That's what I thought you were suggesting.
I am saying that.
Oh, sound, yeah.
What I'm saying is that they shouldn't be arrested.
Right, yes,
criminally.
No, agree,
for
yes. Yeah. I think that's a very interesting way of looking at it.
Whatever the societal implications of whatever you say are, I don't care. Whether that's, a stern talking to or getting your head kicked in. That isn't my concern. But what you shouldn't be is arrested for words.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, annoyingly, I saw this Farage video the other day where some two individuals of a certain religious background had beaten up two police officers, apparently for no reason. I've not got all the context, but it was that situation. Then 3 people who spoke about it aggressively online didn't even go up to somebody and like offend them. They just put a comment online. They got prison time. And I'm thinking, Jesus, that's just cost the taxpayers over £250,000 to put 3 people in prison per year because they wrote something online.
Yeah,
and don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of a keyboard warrior. Don't be a big I am behind a screen, and then the moment you come across these people in public, you can't say boo to a goose. I'm sorry. Grow a pair if that's your genuine opinion, or stop spreading hate and horrible shit. You got a choice, mate. Don't be a dick. But society, unfortunately, we are protected. Although technically in the UK it sounds like we're not now. Like as in, you can say something that is your opinion online and you're put in prison.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember. I'm not going to say the stat because I don't know the exact number, but it was in the tens of thousands of people that have been arrested for tweets in this country, and it's just the irony of Starmer going to America the other week and saying we're very proud of our free speech in our country. It doesn't exist in this country.
Yeah,
I mean, we're better than obviously a lot of certain places that I'm not going to name, but in terms of compared to, say, America, we're shit. We're shit at free speech. America, look at the fucking awful shit that some people, like the Westboro Baptist Church. You must have heard of them.
Oh,
they
yeah,
go to
I
like
don't
soldiers'
know them.
funerals and say they're going to burn in hell and stuff like that. They're not arrested for it.
No, I
because
equally hate those people.
Yeah, and you're allowed to.
Yeah,
and you
that's
probably
the
should
thing.
hate them.
Subjectively.
But that doesn't mean they should be put in prison for saying it. In the same way that, like the gay pride marches and stuff like that. It's two ends of the same
spectrum
argument.
Course,
Do you know what I mean? It's and that's what I do disagree with is the hypocrisy of a lot of that sort of movement. A lot of left wing type things are getting boosted in society. And now I'm not saying that the far right thing should be boosted in society,
Of course not.
but it's just the hypocrisy of the people who are taking advantage of getting boosted on the left wing stuff that I find incredibly funny, because eventually it's going to come back and bite you.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
will.
Isn't it mad?
Yeah, I thought that was...
That's good.
Yeah.
Isn't it? The funny thing is, I bet you there's going to be individuals that watch this, they put comments on the videos, they say things because their opinion. What we've just voiced and spoken about very calmly is two individuals that have got pretty, strong opinions on these things as individuals. I know it's an opinion. Oh, that's what you were saying earlier. I know my opinions are my opinions. They're not facts, okay? Most people can't handle hearing that or believing that to be true. There will be individuals that have heard us talk about this, and they're now going to comment, "Oh, well, I hate you for that, and I don't know you for..." Just proving the point again.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's funny.
You're
I find
allowed
it
to
funny.
hate us.
Yeah, I don't care if you do. Good luck to you, sir.
But,
I hope you have a good life. That's all I care.
I think that, I feel very strongly. I feel very opinionated about not having an opinion. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, same.
Trying to accept that there are different arguments to every situation,
Yeah.
and even if there's a societal correct answer, it doesn't mean that it's the absolute truth.
Good, well said.
And
Yeah.
I just think that you have to hear people out before you can have a rounded argument.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not gonna go into it because we'll be here all year. But like my views on religion, that wasn't a snap decision.
No,
It was
time.
many years of going to church and reading the Bible and things like that, and talking to people on both sides of the coin. And then I came to my conclusion. But it's the same. That's what I don't understand about like religion in America. It's just because you're born into it, people will defend it to the hilt. I'm like, you don't even know what you're defending.
Of course not.
And it amazes me that people are that either happy or stupid that they're not willing to look at the other opportunities in the other sides of an argument. It's just it's crazy to me.
I want to keep discussing this topic, but that's what I want, and that's not the right thing. So I'm going to say,
You can carry on.
what is next?
You can carry on if you want.
Well,
If you've got another point.
yeah, I heard a very, very lovely thing online the other day from a Christian religious man, and he explained it in the way that a belief is something that cannot be definitively true. If it is a belief, by definition, what you're saying is that I believe without evidence that this is correct. And it was just so lovely to hear someone who had a belief in a deity, in creationism, and yet he was literally saying to your face, I'm not telling you this is definitive, this is my belief. And he just loved his own belief. And I was like, do you know what? Although I don't share his belief, I now like this man. I now like the fact that he's very balanced and sensible about what is in a very science-driven world now, where religion has fallen off the face of a cliff in terms of numbers compared to, say, 100 years ago, 200 years ago. There's a reason why so many people now identify as atheist, because they prefer the scientific, factual way of looking at certain things, and they want to see evidence. So rather than saying, look, I'm going to believe something, they choose not to. They don't have a belief. They just accept that there is a true and a not true, which again isn't even a true or not true, because the definition of science is being willing to see an alternative outcome after more evidence. But people hear science from, if they're religious and they hear about scientists or people who are atheists through science, they go, oh, what, just because you've got all the facts? But the definition of science is that the facts are going to change through evidence.
There's a very good argument, and I know it's been very much used. It was a quote by Ricky Gervais on an American chat show. And he said, my way of looking at religion is if you got rid of all the religious texts and then all of the science books on the planet and waited 100 years, all the science books would be back.
Mm-hmm.
The religious ones wouldn't necessarily.
Yeah.
There may be new beliefs, but it doesn't mean that it's a quantifiable truth.
Yeah.
And it's obviously that was long after I decided that I was atheist, but I think it's a very good way of sort of all-encompassing the views of an atheist, which a lot of people get wrong. You didn't, which is good, but atheism is not the active non-belief in a God. It's the absence of a belief system.
Yeah.
What a lot of people mistake atheism for is agnosticism, which is different, which is not knowing.
Yeah.
And technically, everyone's agnostic because I can't unequivocally prove there isn't a God, and some church pastor or the Pope or whoever can't unequivocally prove there is. So, yeah, it's an interesting belief system, and I don't vilify anyone for having. A lot of my friends are Christian and go to church, and I want no issue with them as long as you don't preach it at me, because I'm not going to preach my beliefs at you.
Yeah.
Or my lack of beliefs in that sense. But yeah.
I could keep going, but the next one wouldn't be important. It was just a weird question.
You can ask me a weird question if you want.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on preachers in city centres and in like towns and stuff?
They're enormous fun to have an argument with.
Yes, how you view it.
They're enormous fun to have an argument with. Yeah.
Do you think they should be allowed the pedestal?
100%.
You do?
Yep. You're allowed to say whatever you want in public. I can't just because I don't believe in it, I can't now swing the pendulum and say no, they're not allowed. In order for me to believe in libertarianism and free speech, I have to say yes, they're completely allowed to do it. In the same way as if I went into a city centre and tried to say God isn't real and went on a rant on the other direction, I should have the right to do that.
When was the last time you saw an atheist in the middle of a city centre or
Never.
square? Well, that's kind of
because
like
they
my
don't feel the need.
But that's my predicament with it, is everybody should be able to walk through a high street or a public space without being slapped in the face with horrible, not horrible, that's the wrong choice of words, sorry, but one specific belief system, a guy with a microphone, can cause a lot of anguish and pain, and rightly or wrongly, but it's just I've been in situations where I've literally watched a 60-plus-year-old white religious Christian man slam, and I mean very aggressively verbally, two homosexual men. Now, I don't stand for that. I don't think it's necessary. So I deliberately, being a heterosexual man, I went up to that chap with my mate Rob. I held his hand, gave him a little kiss on the cheek, and I went, "Would it bother you if I was gay, sir?" He went, "Yes, it would." And I was like, "So you're allowing my life choices to bother you, and now you're going to preach and shout at the rest of society as if we should just be okay and not bothered by what you're saying."
Did this preacher have a beard by any chance?
I believe he did, yes.
Yeah. Did it look trimmed?
Relatively, yes.
Then he's already broken one of the rules in that same passage as the bit that they pull the being gay is wrong from.
Well, there we go. So this is my conundrum. That's why I wanted to ask the question, but yeah.
Yeah, I completely accept that they are within their right to do it. But the reason that I think you don't see the other end is for the same reason as what I just said. So preaching, by definition, is the public pushing of a belief system. Atheists don't have that. So you're pushing the lack of belief. It's a bit of a
oxymoron.
Yeah, it doesn't really work. Now, I don't like how militant they are, like what you just described. I really don't like that, and I will never sort of anti-preach at someone who hasn't tried to justify something they've done by using religion. I mean, I think I've told this story on the pod a long time ago, but there was a girl in school who was very religious and called someone a murderer because they'd had a miscarriage. And they said, well, that's a child of God, and I just fucking went off, because as soon as you use religion to hold a shit-fucked opinion like that, then you deserve to be argued with. Yeah. Because that's abhorrent. Like, it's traumatic enough.
Yeah.
And can you imagine if they were religious and they already felt the guilt of that?
Yeah, and you go and slap that sort of comment out there. It's disgusting.
That's where I draw the line. But then that's what I mean by libertarianism, is that's a social consequence.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that, then you open yourself up to the opposite opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you that. I'm going to match your energy. Yeah. So
you're a very fair man, Taylor. Is what
I
I'm
try
realising.
to be.
It's good. I think that's actually I've learned a lot from this.
My biases come out sometimes, but
of course we're humans.
I try and look at all aspects of an argument before making a full opinion, if you like. But
same. I like this. This is very good.
Guess who we're talking about next?
Go on. I will just say, and this is a little bit clipped, I've got to get on for that one, for Elle's meeting.
Oh shit, when's that?
8 minutes.
That's all right. This fucking twat doesn't deserve more than 8 minutes anyway.
Here we go.
Tesla
Here we go.
investor calls for Elon Musk to step down as boss.
Oh,
One of
God.
Tesla's earliest investors has told Sky News that Elon Musk should step aside as the carmaker's chief executive unless he gives up his new government role. Ross Gerber said in an interview with Sky's Business Live that the tycoon and advisor to Donald Trump had lost focus given his widening interests and was now too divisive.
Interesting.
Yeah,
What's yours, Tay?
I was watching quite an interesting video, and I wish I could find it because I can't give you the stat because I can't tell you exactly what it is. But it was an independent sort of third party that had run some sort of algorithm to work out how much of Tesla's worth as a company was actually the company itself and not hype generated by Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about 75-25 from memory.
75% Tesla's actual value is stock shares, etc. 25% is through...
Other way.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Oh, my God.
This algorithm valued Tesla at like 100 billion, and it's like $1 trillion company. It's
Wow.
like, yeah, I'm not going to state it as fact because I can't. I looked for it earlier to try and find the graphic, and I can't find it, so I'm not going to...
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's true, I'll say that. But that's what I was going to lead on to is... How much of because I struggle with the products of Tesla. I don't think they're that good. You know, there's a lot of problems with them, and how much of it is empty promises from Elon Musk? You know, saying next year we'll have full self-driving, and next year is. I don't know if you ever watch his interviews about Tesla,
Sometimes,
but it's always it's coming next year, and it never does.
Mm.
But there was in this video I watched, there was like 10 instances where he'd said this XYZ is coming next year, and it didn't.
Really?
Yeah, so I wonder how much of the overall thing is just generated hype.
And the thing is, the problem is we all accept that he is a genius. And I think that bit is almost... I don't like it when people debate that point because what he has done, maybe it's not all him, but what he's contributed to in society is, quite frankly, very, very limited in numbers that can say they've done similar things. So I'm going to put him in a bracket here of genius in a positive way, because I don't think many individuals could ever do that. But the problem is now he has too much influence. And on the article's point, I do believe that if he's going to have a position of power in government, which is a system I don't like or agree with anyway, but if you're going to allow that to be okay, he can't be potentially influencing the impact on his businesses through his position of power, because then that's not fair.
It's actually illegal.
Yeah, and I think that now America are towing a very, very weird line. You've got a multi-billionaire as the president. You've got multi-billionaires all around him influencing a direction. Now, if they've chosen so many things in their lives to make themselves billionaires, it kind of means they're doing it, and not wrongly, but it's for them. So if you then become a member of parliament or you become a politician, it shouldn't be for you. It should be for the greatness of the individuals in your country, the population. And I don't think that you're going to see that now. I genuinely think, although, you know...
You've ever seen it, but...
No, and this is why I don't like politics. This is why I honestly believe it's so hard for an animal, a human being, me included, I'm not pointing the finger at everybody, I'm pointing it at me in this statement. It is so hard to shut off the survival instinct and the ego of being, I need to provide for me first.
Yeah.
It's so hard. And I've worked my bollocks off on doing this in the last 3 years, specifically in my business. I've really pushed myself as being the non-worthy factor to then hopefully bring up everybody else around me. It has been brutal, psychologically brutal, seriously, but I think it's the right thing to do. So I'm trying that, but I don't anticipate that from everybody, and I can't ask everyone to do it because it's been too painful. And I don't mean like greedily painful, but just literally shutting off your own human instinct is so hard to do, you know.
That's why I think government representation should be a voluntary job.
Yeah, basically.
It should be unpaid, so that the core factors of it are the betterment of people. I think you'd get a much different crowd if they weren't getting paid and all the benefits from it. I think you would see a swing of where it was for the people, because it would be less
rewarding.
individually impactful unless you helped the greater majority.
Yeah.
You can include yourself in that greater majority, and it may help you in the long run.
Yeah.
But you impact more people rather than just giving deals to your mates and stuff like that. I think
100%.
yeah, the ulterior motive of politics is wrong.
Some bloody good articles there today, Tay.
Yeah.
Well found amongst a heap of dog shit. You've done very well, mate.
Yeah, slow news day.
Yeah, no, those are good contentious points, and I genuinely feel, selfishly, I'm sorry, audience, that you may not have benefited from this, but I've definitely come out the other end with a benefit again. I'm slightly more open-minded and more aware of the fact that I am a hypocrite. It's a good thing, because we naturally all are. And if you can't be okay with that, then you're just going to keep being bitter and angry at everyone else. So stop projecting and start, enjoying things and being nice. That's really the message of this podcast, it sounds like. Just be bloody nice. Whatever colour, creed, religious belief, just be fucking nice. It helps the world turn a bit easier. We're all struggling with shit, so the more people are nice to everybody else, including themselves, the better life can be for everyone. There you go.
Inspirational quotes with Dan.
Yeah, if there's one thing I'm not, mate, it's inspirational. Let's leave that one there.
Bro's just fucking aura farming in the corner over there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Dan's got to go and run his business now.
Yeah. Cheers, everyone.
Bye.
Lots of love.